Thanks, Schultze. Thank you so much. A big welcome to everybody as well that's just joined us on our live stream here this evening too. Just want to say to everybody that is here, to reiterate what Schultz says, please ensure that you have got your masks on because we are going live tonight on the feed. And also social distance, and please make sure that you are sanitizing all through the night as well. It's very important. Having lived through it over the last 14 days, I can tell you that this thing is no longer a joke. It is certainly very, very serious. We have also got something very special planned for tonight, which the man behind me here is not quite aware of. But before I get to that, I want to just let him. It's suspicious, yes, but now we're going to give Peter du Toit the opportunity that he always has at the beginning of a Passion for Speed festival, and that's to welcome all the drivers and just have a few words. Pete?
Must I hold both? Okay, now I'm famous. All right. Well, good evening, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for this day, for this weekend, and persevering with us. The three biggest fears that mankind has is famine, it is plagues, and it's war. We've overcome the war, I know, and we've overcome the famines. If there is famine, it's the fault of the politicians. But the plagues are still with us, and it's just been a big shock into the economic system, into our personal lives. But in 1948, the United Nations passed a resolution that everybody has the right to live. And since then, medical science has been working so hard, that even extending our lives. So I know I'm 77 this year, but I mean, they've told me under good authority they can keep me going until I'm 120. So think how difficult I'm going to be then when you come to Swartkops. Now, the other thing is, at the moment, I'm going to take off my mask because I don't think I'm within spitting distance of you. So if I do spooks a little, it'll fall down over here. But it's in the mic, I suppose that's a big problem. Anyway, you'll disinfect the mic. So at least you can see my face, and we are distancing, and we are live streaming. One of the things that we do with the Passion of Speed is that to acknowledge those who have moved on and who have made a significant contribution to motorsport, not only here at Swartkops, but also in the industry of motor racing and motorsport. And so every year in our program, that's why I ask you to avail yourself. We have printed programs for this event. I think it's the first printed program in about 15 months or 16 months that we will find at a race meeting. But we print a program every year with our passion, and we acknowledge those that have moved on. So I'm just at the great risk of boring you or just going on and on and on. I just want to highlight very, very briefly the lives of those that have meant so much to us and made our sport possible. And I remember people like Jan Maritz, the man from Bridgestone who died last year, who passed on. For people like Mick van Rensburg, he came to Swartkops often, even if its cars were not on demonstration or on display. I remember Pretoria Motor Club, people like Mike Winfield, the editor for Pretoria News. He never missed a meeting. He gave us all the coverage we ever needed. We remember Terry Studworthy, who passed away suddenly in February last year. He was at Swartkops here at the end of January, and he went home, and it just went wrong. And he was one of our greatest stewards and clerk of the courses that we've ever had in South African motorsport. Then there was Mike Reed. He was Mr. SEC after the Sports Car Club collapsed in 1980 when Kyalami was sold to Bernie and to Max and was left in the cold. It was Mike Reed that kept the SEC going and also was the stalwart and the pillar of support with the old Swartkops, half the size, twice the fun. Then you can't believe it. That the old Swartkops one Saturday morning, I was chomping away on a beautiful hamburger, and my mouth was full, and this silver Mercedes rocks up, the SL 300 rocks up, and asked me, where's the toilets? And they were on a rally. And you know who was in the car? Sir Sterling Moss. He came to do a classic rally many, many years ago, and he somehow landed up at Swartkops, and he needed to go to the bathroom. And I choked on my hamburger. I don't know what he thought of me. Not that he would have ever recognized me ever again. And I was a bit worried about our toilets if they were functional as well. But people like that would have been part, and they're part of the memory of Swartkorps. And then there's my hero from being boyhood, my boyhood hero, Neville Austin, the man who had raced the D-Type Jaguar. There's my D-Type Jaguar, but he had the John Love, ex-John Love OKV3 Jaguar, which was virtually written off in the first 9 out Kyle Army. But he carried on racing for many years. He's and his sons. Then also, sadly, last year we lost Donnie Lamola. She raced Formula 4, was a very promising young racing driver, but she fell down a flight of stairs and she bumped her head and she had brain injuries from which she never recovered. So we remember that was a champion in the making and was a huge loss to us. We lost Tony Jeffries. You won't know him. He was from the 60s. He raced Formula 1 in South Africa. I think Tony was also on bikes at one stage. Then Lionel Rowe, Mike Rowe's father, also raced Formula 1 in the 60s. He passed away. Hilton Buerta, one of our Swartkorps marshals. Then there was also Wally Pappas. And how can we ever forget Wally? He was a great man in our midst. Then there was Joan Tucker. She met Francis Tucker, doing race secretary at the old Swartkorps. And I've spoken about Andre Loubser. He was a scribe. He worked for Sterling Moss Auto Racing, Smart, in the 60s after Sterling retired from motor racing. And if you want to know about him, speak to Roger McCleary. He was an incredible character. And he was also a motoring scribe of note. Then Rob van Zyl, not many people know him, but he raced a Bugatti, he had a Ferrari, real historic stuff, and he passed away. He's also an industrialist. And then from KZN was Julian Lurie. He was a director of MSA at one stage, but he was also an incredible organizer, and Natal, or KZN today, Motorsport, should have a deeply in gratitude for the contribution that he made to the sport, and he passed on more recently, I think earlier this year. And then more recent, Jan Hartze. He was a TV producer, but he was always involved in the sport in just so many ways, and I think he was a victim of COVID. So it was for me great to be able to honor him. And I ask everybody to get a copy of these programs and keep it. And we've got old programs too, just to remember who raced when and where, and to remember those that laid the foundation for our circuit and our motor racing and our motorsport in South Africa. So, and there's a number of others here, family and friends, they've also been noted. So we give thanks for them. Then the other thing is just to say procedures. We got this driver's briefing this evening. On Sunday morning, we will have obviously a driver's briefing for the Sunday people that are participating, and we appreciate people understanding and having to split their racing weekend, but we had no option. We thought in January when we split to June, we would be over COVID. How naive can you be? But we will overcome. But we are so grateful for people who are giving up their time and their energy and taking on risk of being here this weekend and participating with us. And we thank you for it. I'll also conduct a short service on Sunday morning, and that will be live streamed. So if you're lying in bed and say, I race Saturday, so my racing's over for the weekend, not a chance. You'll be live streamed in a short church service. Not too long, only 10, 12 minutes. I've been disciplined in that respect. And then there's also just a couple of people that I really would like to honor. Now, there is a lot of people that I would have loved to honor. We all need to be honored here, being Swartkorps and being part of the Swartkorps family. But there are a couple that I need, and I feel at this stage, that I want to just give them a little award of our appreciation. Before doing so, we're glad that there is the motorcycle fraternity represented here this evening as well. And is Ian Croak being with us.
One.
And
That's
also
two.
Dave Peterson.
Yeah, I
Is there
cranked
any
it on
other
purpose.
motorcycle racer here that I've now missed? Oh, sorry, Greg. But you more off-road than tracks. This will be talking about tracks. Okay. But it's good to have you here. And a big welcome to everybody and our special guests and all our legends. And it goes back, you can see Ben Morgan Ruby, and I see all these people. I think there's a history behind each one of these people. But if I write the book, I suppose these days nobody will read it. So we'll just put it on WhatsApp and then circulate it across the world. But anyway, so the people I just want to go thanks to, and it's no, please, this is not for Circle staff. This is for people that are the services that they've provided over many years. And the first one is Schultz. Where are you? You run up. There we are. So where's the award? There we are. So that now you can put that on the mantelpiece. I'm standing here without my face mask. You know, I don't spit when I speak.
Schultz, whoa.
All right, there we are. But that's an appreciation. 20 years, going on 21 years, being in that little office down at the end of Foot Lane and having me shout at you. Yeah, it was over. The other one is he's also been with us for 20 years. We know him, but we just take him for granted anyway, and that is Henny Flag. Where is Henny Flag? Oh, he is. There we are, Henny. Let me take a picture of you.
Yeah.
And then the third one is John 10. John 10 has got to prepare our cars, make parts, look for parts, beg for parts, but thankfully not stealing parts. So, John, we got an award for you. There we are. It's John 10. But thanks to John, and you know, it gets rough, and we call it corporate 5 now, but it's shed 5. It gets a bit rough there at times. You know, and then is Sibo Cecil with us? Sibo. Is he working? He's preparing cars. I got to give it to him. I feel in the bottom of my heart the agony. He never says no. He never complains. And this weekend, he had the responsibility of setting up or preparing and then handing over 22 cars. Now, we have battled to put one car on the grid, and he has to worry with John and the team, but he's got to worry and make sure that there's fuel, to make sure that the fact is the parts and the wheels are done on the tires and the setups, and he's made incredible progress over the years that we've known him, and we're very proud of him. So we've got an award for him, but as you can see, he's not here. He's busy preparing for tomorrow, and we just give great thanks for him. I think that's me for the time being. I will get an inspiration shortly. But what I was going to say to you, I don't spit when I speak. But a few years ago, I got very excited one Sunday morning, and a little bit of spit slipped out. And it hit an old lady in the eye in the second row from the church. And, oh no! Was the response. And of course, you lost your congregation totally by that stage. So, but I promise you tonight, I haven't spat, but you're going to have to, Natasha, you bring the ointment and do your thing over these mics before we hand them back. Get it, my dear. Whilst on your hands that over to me, I also want to give a great thanks to our software staff. I'm putting. I'll record all for you. That was actually Tanya and Zelda and John and Andre and the whole team of Swartkops that make a weekend like this possible. It's been very strenuous and frightening, but we're here and we are thankful. The weather's good and we look forward to Saturday and for Sunday. Thanks, Greg.
Well, there you have it. And as I said, there is something special that we have planned for tonight as well. And unbeknownst to the man behind me here, he's been mentioning. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about all the people that he has to thank and how many people have helped him get through to where he is right now, having this magnificent facility put together, as well as all the time and effort that he's put into motorsport over his lifetime, his family's lifetime, and the entire Du Toit family that have got involved in motorsport, and of course here at Swartkops. So Pete, tonight's not only all about the Welcome to Passion for Speed Festival, but it's also a bit of a tribute to Mr. Peter Du Toit. And my good friend and mentor, Roger McCleary, is standing by to take us through a little insert as to what Peter Du Toit and who is Peter Du Toit.
A living legend in motorsport circles, Peter Du Toit has worked tirelessly and sometimes thanklessly in order to make Swartkops Raceway and his passion for speed events the success they are. We say thanklessly, but are about to put that right with a brief tribute to the man himself. He's brought racing drivers and riders from the four corners of the planet to make the international passion for speed just that, international. Peter has invented categories of racing to fit into his arena and has made perfectly sure that every driver and rider has his day in the sun at Swartkops Raceway near Pretoria. Thank you for watching this, and hopefully we can in some small way show Peter our appreciation of his dedication and of course passion.
I think they're all lovely days, they're incredible days. There's a huge spread of motor cars, spirit of the public, the spirit of the competitors. They're all there with you. And I mean, it's just a great day of enjoyment. But it's both on and off the track. And on the track, I mean, it's some incredible racing. You know, with the big V8s, with the Lamar cars, the International Sports prototypes, single-seaters, Lotus, even the little giants, the smaller little cars. So, you know, it just lives up to the occasion. But it won't happen if without the public support and the spirit of competitors and public.
Peter's brainchild has had an endearing effect on so many of us involved in motorsport. One of them being the great Sarel van der Merwe.
Well, I get my yearly fix here, you know. I miss motorsport a lot. And, so I do whatever racing I can now and again. And fortunately, people offer me a car now and again, so I can still get a bit done.
The legends of the now is Peter's way of remembering the great days of motorsport and his big banger V8 car, somehow always including Sarel in the thick of things. Sarel has taken time out to send through this message.
Hi Peter, just a word from me. Thanks for what you've done for motorsport. You've rebuilt Swartkops Raceway into one of the best, certainly the best operating track in the country. And thanks for inviting me in 2006 to ride your Galaxy, and I've been there every year since then. It's been wonderful knowing you, and thank you what you've done for motorsport. Thanks, Pete.
Another competitor who has benefited from Peter's passion for speed is lady driver Mel Spur.
Yeah, big time. Well, 911 pulling around the outside, trying to get out the way. Hardline. Welcome to my world, Mel.
Hey Peter, it's me. Surprise! The noisy one. Peter, thanks for everything you've done for motorsport, for me as an individual, for so many categories, for so many people. You and your family are nothing short of incredible. If it wasn't for Swartkops, there's just so many people who so many of us wouldn't have met, the opportunities we've been given, and working for you and with you for a good number of years, it definitely molded me. I've met some incredible people along the way. Most of them, your friends who become family, and your racing friends are definitely family. You, Corrine, the boys, the grandchildren, your daughter-in-laws, thank you for everything you've ever done for me, and thank you for everything you've done for the racing community, Supatch, 111, anybody I might have missed, but particularly those people. Thank you for all the opportunities I've always gotten, different cars, and just all round, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad. You're nothing short of amazing. Thank you, Peter.
The du Toit family have been stalwarts of South African motorsport. Both Mark and Jonathan du Toit have won national titles as well as been major contributors to the annual International Passion for Speed. They've won the South African TT Endurance event on a number of occasions and are certainly appreciative of the support from their father Peter.
The car was running beautifully, there was no problems whatsoever, and we were very, very lucky in that race. We managed to time the safety car, it was just by coincidence, and as a result I think that gave us quite a big lead at the end. I drove a few laps behind safety car and then didn't have too much to do just to make sure I brought it home.
Peter, here are a few words from Jonathan and his family. Dear Dad, thank you for my life. I'm so pleased to have had you as a father. You've always been a rock in my life and have wanted the best for me, whether it be in my personal life, school or university life, career or in motorsport. Thank you for your motorsport vision and creating a world-class facility at Zwartkops. I've had many happy memories of the enjoyable racing at Zwartkops. South African motorsport is truly indebted to you. My own motorsport journey started very young. I remember my first races in the Mitta DKW Junior before upgrading to the Dart Alpha. I distinctly remember my blue Golf, which I rolled at the old Zwartkops through the drive-in. The Mark II Golf, where I won 13 races in succession to the Kent Formula Ford. Then to the Zetec Formula Ford, where in 2001 I won the National Formula Ford title. I remember you flying down to the away races, taking time off work to be there to support me. The passion for speed was born out of your passion for historic motor racing. It was born when you were a young boy and stood at the fence for Kyle Army's 9-hour race. And now on to the next generation. Callum and Luke love coming to Zwartkops and have recently started practicing in a go-kart. Their love for motorsport is clearly genetic and will continue for their lives. All our love, Jonathan, Taryn, Callum and Luke.
In the Chevy Nova, but Henny Krunewald gets the whole shot. Mark du Toit coming around the outside of Michael Stephen, and there is already action as Sorrel van der Merwe puts du Toit sideways. Great catch from Mark du Toit. On the tail of this machine, of course, you can see is du Toit. We're on board with him as they go through Mix FM corner.
Mark, Peter's eldest son, has also proved himself more than capable on the racetrack and has also sent through a tribute to his dad.
Yeah, all good. Roy was keeping me honest there for a while, and then I see cars seem to be smoking quite a bit, and then I see he dropped back. So our car's doing fine. Back tire's getting a bit worn, getting a bit tired out there. I'm glad my book's taken over.
Hi Dad, congratulations on 20 years of the Zwartkops International Passion for Speed event. It's been a lot of hard work and true achievement, a lot of ups and downs, but we've enjoyed it through the years. And you brought a lot of joy to many people in the country, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Brought a lot of fun.
Dear Grandad, thank you for inspiring us to be passionate about racing.
Thank you for exciting us to come to the racetrack. It's so fun that it goes so fast.
Thank you for showing us what can be achieved with a strong vision and passion.
We love you, Grandad.
We've also received a number of tributes from participants in the International Passion for Speed from around the world.
Got psyched out by one of the du Toit boys who was coming up to lap me and forgot where I should brake. It took me a minute or two, not a minute or two, but certainly 10 or 20 seconds to get back on the circuit again. But otherwise, it's jolly good fun. Yeah, went well.
Hi Peter and everybody at Zwartkops. I hope you're having a fantastic evening or lunchtime or afternoon, whatever it is that wherever it is that you're celebrating this amazing 20 years of Zwartkops. I really wish we could be with you, but we can't. We're not allowed. We're not allowed. Anyway, have a fantastic time, and we've got wonderful memories of everything you've done for us all over the years, and let's hope there's plenty more to come. All the best. Bye.
So it's very exciting, and to say thank you to David Piper, who's been here 31 times, he's raced in South Africa 20 times, and he's been at Zwartkops 16 times. You know, just a big thank you to him, because it is through those years of inspiration of the 9-hour, a day like this, the idea and inspiration of a day like this was born.
Congratulations, Peter. Sorry we can't be with you to celebrate this milestone. We miss you all, but we will be back one day. We've been locked down for a year or more now. Liz has been telling me what to do all the time, as usual, and I don't take any notice. We both send our love to you and all at Swartkops. We've had so many happy times there, and we look forward to coming back because the memories are irreplaceable. Racing there has all our friends we've made while we've been there and everything. Have a wonderful evening and best wishes from Liz and myself.
That had a National Formula One Championship. We're going to be having a look to see as we go on board here with Eddie Perk, one of the organisers of this event, and alongside with Chris Williams has put this entire field together as they head down into turn 1.
Hi Peter, just a quick message to say congratulations, 20 years. We do wish we were there to celebrate with you.
Yes indeed, we do. COVID's put a stop to that, unfortunately, but who knows for next year. Peter, thank you so very, very much. Our trips to Swartkops have always been the highlight of our year, and that's despite being able and being lucky enough to travel all over Europe racing on iconic circuits. Swartkops will always be very, very close to our hearts. So my first race in 1964 on my moped, or 63, many years ago, dodging speakers at the bottom of the loop. Thank you also so very, very much for the many vehicles you've allowed me to drive, your cars you've allowed me to drive. It's been an experience that still gives me goose pimples every time I look at the pictures. Thank you too for the encouraging us last year and embracing our visit by the HEPCA. Last week at Donington we had a few drinks, as we do most evenings in the paddock, and we reminiscing about the wonderful times we experienced, and those that came with us are full of it and want us to come again sometime. Peter, thank you again I can't thank you enough. Look after yourself, have a lovely day, and give all our best wishes to Kareem. You're a rock. Take care, look after yourself, and stay safe.
And enjoy the racing. God bless.
Bye.
The fact that he might be lapping too quick for this class. There is a breakout time, and Ben Morgenroot could be in trouble. This is Michael Campagna, who's...
Yeah, we had some, as it is in our country, winter time, so we need to repair some cars for our summertime, so we have some engines out and all these kind of things. So I took Ford Galaxy with me, which I bought here in South Africa a few years ago. Then I did some races in Europe, and now we have it here again.
Hello, Peter. I'm sorry that I can't be in South Africa at the moment. And also for Frans and Harm, they said sorry as well. Frans is at the moment enjoying life in Ibiza, and Harm is living in Portugal. So I'm the only one who is still a little bit working. But I'd like to thank you for everything. All the things you did for us. Always when we came to South Africa, you were the perfect host. Together with your family, your wife, your children, and everyone at this racetrack. So I can say a lot of beautiful words about you, but one thing I remember, you came with your family to the Netherlands, and I took you, I said to you, listen, should we go to the Nürburgring, to the Nordschleife, and have just a lap? And you said, do you have a car then? I said, yeah, I have a car, I have a Land Rover. And you asked me, can you drive with that Land Rover then on the racetrack? I said, I can, no problem. So we went to Germany, which is about 2.5 hour drive from here, so not that far. And we took a lap on the Nordschleife. Normally it's the Nordschleife together with the Nürburgring, but this time that was closed. So we went for a lap, which is about 26k. And I think 187 corners. And you were sitting next to me in the Land Rover. We're not going fast, but just enjoying the lap and seeing all the other cars who were passing us. And the nice thing I saw, you sitting next to me, having a big smile on your face. And at a certain moment I thought, give me a few seconds and he will push me behind the steering wheel, and he wants to drive by himself. So
what is the fun of driving on an old-fashioned track? I think the fun of driving on an old-fashioned track is that everything, you can't make any mistakes. So that's why I think in general I like street races. So in the past we went to Denmark, to Copenhagen, Aarhus, which had nice race tracks. Not that big, maybe 2.5K, but still quite nice. We went to Portugal in the past, to Porto, which has a very beautiful city track, which is about 5Ks. And the most beautiful one I've ever driven is Villarreal, a very old-fashioned racetrack in the middle of the city, which is about 7Ks long. But it all has the same. It doesn't matter if you drive 2.5K in Pau, in France, they have a beautiful track on the streets. But what is the nice thing about it? You cannot make any mistakes. So I want to give you a challenge, Peter. Yeah, so just arrange a street race in South Africa, and we will definitely come again. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, Mick Grant, once again in sunny South Africa. This is your annual pilgrimage, and every year it just seems to get bigger and bigger. Today, a full day of bike racing.
It's been, we've had a fantastic time, as we always do. If we didn't, we wouldn't come back. And it certainly doesn't get any worse. It's a great event, and the people are really friendly, and it makes you really feel at home.
Hi, Peter. I'd just like to say a big thanks for all the good times you've given me and a lot of other Brits that have been coming over to South Africa and racing in Zwartkop and Killarney year after year. I'm quite sure if it wasn't for your enthusiasm and dedication, it wouldn't have happened. And I'm absolutely certain that we would never have got down to Killarney. It's just been an absolutely fantastic event for all of us, especially for me. And for that, we can't thank you enough. Do you remember one time you asked if I could bring some budding youngsters over just to do something a little bit differently? And I brought Craig Jones, Cal Crutchlow and Tom Sykes. And of course, little did we know at the time, although I had a bit of an inkling, they all went on to do absolutely great things. Poor old Craig, he got killed at Brands Hatch, but at the time he was actually leading the World Supersport Championship. I miss desperately the annual jaunts to come over and visit. And certainly when this COVID mess is over, I do intend to come over again. So in the meantime, from myself and all the guys that you've given so much pleasure to, I wish you well for the future, and I hope to see you in the near future. God bless. Bye.
Peter du Toit's history goes way back to Grand Central, those glorious days they had at Grand Central. And then also at Zwartkops, where they brought over world champions. We had Jim Redmond, we had Gary Hocking, Phil Reed. They all, and Mick Grant, who's won many TTs, all came to ride at Zwartkops. And this turned him on greatly, watching through the fence with his father in attendance. And guess what? Peter du Toit eventually did own a circuit, and was Zwartkops, and he's put everything into it with vision and built a great racetrack, and is a real credit to South African motorsport. In fact, Zwartkops Raceway today, it's an international raceway. We have this Passion for Speed, which is the international racing with big entries. Nobody gets over 300 entries from cars at any race meeting like Zwartkops does. But what he has built up there, every time you go to that circuit, he's got another building, another development going. He's got the track, 2.4 kilometers racetrack. He's got two karting circuits. One's the international karting circuit, where Mark Renew won the world title many years ago against 32 other countries. Also got one for teaching people karting. He's got an off-road facility. He's got a skid pan. He's got two international motor companies, VW and Mercedes, with their driving schools out at Kyalami. And so it goes on. He's got a clubhouse where you can have conferences there. So Peter really has built up just a great facility, and we're very grateful to him from all the fans of South African motorsport and all the competitors. And some more tributes. From Colin Frost, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Peter for the personal ways he's operated Zwartkops. He's always treated us like a family and always making sure the competitor comes first. He's always gone out of his way to make sure the race day is enjoyed by all and bringing the families to the track. Andre de Kock from the Citizens, the idea was to create affordable, accessible and practical racing categories, and the competitors rewarded us by arriving in large numbers. From Corinne de Toy, his wife, you're special, a challenge, challenging and have been my partner for almost 50 years. Taron de Toy, you're a motorsport hero and icon. We, your family, love you dearly and are thankful for everything. Taron, John, Callum and Luke. From Kirsten de Toy, thank you for showing us what you can achieve with a strong vision and passion. Thank you for teaching our children about generosity and determination. Thank you for taking us along on the adventure from dream to reality. Kirsten, Mark, Joss and Mila. John van der Merwe, a wonderful gentleman who's not only a boss, but a leader, a mentor and a role model. And from Ursula van der Berg, you empower us with the power of knowledge. You motivate us with the best tutelage. You help us move ahead with unending motivation. As a leader and a human being, you're a true inspiration to everyone. Then from Zelda Verster, I want to thank you for being the person you are. I want to thank you for everything you've given and done for motorsport in South Africa. I want to thank you also for letting me drive your cars and giving me the opportunity to learn and to experience motorsport. One day I'll be able to say, do you know who I am? Eunice Kakwatha, the de Toy family, his parents gave us a full bowl of fruits. If you read Galatians 5 verse 22, it tells us about the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Mr. de Toy is like a bowl that is full of fruits. Peter continues to be the ambassador of the de Toys at Swartkops. From Andre Joubert, hoe sê mens dankie vir 20 jaar se mooi werksverhouding. Wil maar net sê dat dit vir my 'n groot voorreg is om deel te wees van 'n wêreldbekende renbaan en die beste in Suid-Afrika en die passie wat daar mee te paard gaan. Jules Swanepoel says Swartkops Martial Club hereby pays homage to the brains behind and the creator of the best circuit in the country, Peter de Toy. Donovan Cooper and Hanley Botha, it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of your vision to motorsport and other petrol heads alike. You're an inspiration to us and others who have made a difference in many people's lives. From MSA Scrutineers, Mandy Chandler says, we'd like to thank you for all that you've done for motorsport in general, but also for looking after us as we worked at the track for many years now. Gareth Christie from Chicane Sports Lounge, he's a truly great leader and someone I have enormous respect for. His dedication and resolve to Swartkop Raceway vision is nothing short of inspirational. From Alan Bailey, I recall driving around the then newly laid tarmac with as yet no infrastructure in place and thinking, this chap must be very brave and enterprising. I do hope his venture succeeds. So here we are, 20 years later, and I've watched you skillfully navigate all the obstacles and situations that have arisen as the new era of South African politics has emerged and continues to do so with its ever-changing challenges. From Roger and Meg Houghton, Peter's ongoing enthusiasm for motorsport is invigorating, as is the way he has engendered a love for the sport in his sons Mark and Jonathan, who've also turned out to be extremely competitive racing drivers, as well as following their father into the world of investment banking. And from Meg, the wife of Roger, true and honest gentleman, Peter de Toy is one of the nicest people in South African motorsport. And from Adrian Scholz, the boss man at MSA, and the sport more generally owes you a significant debt of gratitude for your ongoing contribution to the sport that means so much to us all. From John Tendashata, thank you for the many journeys that we've embarked on, restoring in Klomp paper to their former glory, and then experiencing the thrilling sight, sound and the smell of them being raced to entertain the classic racing enthusiasts. And Franco Scribanti, he sends his best wishes as well. Leroy Poulter, one of our best, under Peter de Toy's guidance, Swartkops Raceway has become the only track where spectators young and old can come and enjoy racing while being able to get to meet the drivers in person and in the heart of the pits. Paolo Cavalieri says that starting a new year back at the office is always a bit tough, but made bearable by the thought that we are racing at the end of January at the Swartkops International. Without Peter's vision and commitment, these memories that have blessed my life would never have been possible. Oliver DeLay, he's the magic man of racing, he says about Peter de Toy. Chris Wilson also says, when I first arrived at Swartkops, there was a name that kept cropping up, Peter de Toy. At first it was just a name, but I soon realised that motor racing in South Africa, particularly historic racing, Peter has had a huge influence on. From Davy Olafia, thanks very much and congratulations for 20 years of great motor racing. From Elvine Fonk, that's Gussie Coetzee's daughter, Peter's the most gentle and kind employer I've ever got to know and had the privilege to work with. I will always treasure his kindness and his sense of humour. From Heidi Marie van der Au of Motorheads, she sends congratulations and well done to Peter as well. Here's another star, Henny Groenewald. You remain one of the true motorsport legends that continue to give back to the sport we all love so much. Pim Petersen says, let me assure you that in my 30-odd years involvement in the sport, I've not met a more serious and genuine gentleman that has always had our back as competitors at his track and series. Ian Grote, Peter du Toit will be recognised today for his outstanding achievements and not before time from an enthusiastic, ageing old biker like me, for he truly deserves our gratitude for being such a super overachiever for road racing petrol heads. One of the traits, says Ishmael Beloya, I've learned from you's humbleness, which I believe it shapes a person to the approval of the Creator. From the bottom of my heart, I convey my sincere thank you for the contribution you've made in my life in general and in motor racing. Jeffrey Krug, another star, I'm forever grateful for you and your passion and involvement in the sport. Thank you, Peter. Michele Lupini, not everybody may have agreed with everything that the Toys have done, but rest assured it was always done with one thing in mind, and that's the best interest of South African motorsport. We all know, says Stuart McClarty, love and appreciate the Swartkorps, Peter du Toit. Nothing I could say would add to the legend that is Peter du Toit. Uli Sani, it's not just a passion for speed, it's a passion for racing. It's a passion for historics. And above all, it's a passion for people. Vaughan Oblidal from On Track also sends his best to Peter du Toit with a big thank you to him. Gary Zapsky, thank you, Peter, for the many phone calls, coffee meetings, lunches, and especially the memorable days we've spent watching racing at Swartkorps. You have and will always be one of those incredibly special people that I've had the privilege of knowing. Des Esom, Peter du Toit is a legend among motorsport enthusiasts, a man who lives and breathes motor racing with a passion that has lasted more than 7 decades. Fonnie du Plooy from the Swartkorps Owners Club always believed that Motorsport SA can be truly proud of a man called Peter du Toit, whose passion for motorsport and Swartkorps has brought in so many of the overseas competitors, got in our own racing legends, created platforms for the young up-and-coming aspiring drivers, and in doing so, really given the South African motorsport fraternity real value. Another flyer, Lee Thompson, says the peaceful early mornings at this beautiful tracks you created keeps me going during the hard weeks. I'm grateful that I can share this passion with you. You're an inspiration. Marge Viljoen, I remember many years ago in a discussion with Peter, he mentioned that when he was a schoolboy, about 8 years old, he'd frequented motor racing at the Grand Central track. Looking through the wire fence, watching his heroes race, he said, one day I'm going to build and own my own racing circuit. Max Elner, well, I'd like to say thank you to Peter du Toit for the opportunity of having me in the Swartkorps team. It was a great time developing Swartkorps. LCV van der Westhuizen, a great man, visionary, colleague, mentor and the best friend. And Charlene Meyering says, I would not change it for all the money in the world working for Uncle Peter at Swartkorps. It was and still is and was one of the absolute best jobs I've ever had. And finally from Tanya Human, there are heroes who walk amongst us, never looking for glory or praise. They do not seek recognition for their thoughtful, caring ways, living lives of deep commitment, providing for those they hold dear, steadfast with a quiet strength through times of laughter and tears. You're a person like that to me, the most selfless man by far, Peter du Toit. I'd like to thank you for being the hero you are.
There's a lot of people come here. Many people who come here they only come to motor racing once a year, but they say this is just a place to be at the end of January, beginning of February every year. So it's been a good day.